Hello, welcome. It's Rapid Regeneration. I'm David Escamilla. I'm not a doctor or medical professional. I'm not giving any medical advice or claims about medical claims or diseases. This is brought to you by rapidregeneration.com. And I wanted to talk about juicing. I'm basically just going through different things on this program that basically helped me to go from hell to paradise in terms of my health, suffering really badly and fixing my problems, and things that I hope are going to help you. So that's my lifelong mission. And one of these is, of course, juicing. And so this is a really neat way to experience the power of raw foods, specifically your fruits and your vegetables, and your herbs, of course. And, when I think about juicing, it takes me back to the fall of 2011. Now, this was really bad. It was in the summer of 2011 that I got this episode where I overdosed on cough medicine, and I basically poisoned my whole system, and I got totally toxic, my nervous system, everything, my brain. I couldn't think straight, and I felt horrible. And basically, it was a big mess. I dropped out of college. God, this is sad to think about. But I was basically living in just this meager existence, and but at the time I was working these two jobs that I hated, which I should have been having fun, but I was miserable. And I was working at this sandwich shop as a sandwich maker and delivery driver, and I was also working as a valet parker downtown, which was anyway. So when I was doing this, I'm going back, and I think I had some kind of innate ingenious or intelligence that was giving me like a little nudge, like, hey Dave, here's what to do. Because I would get this I would get this urge to go and stop over at the smoothie or the juicery, and I would order the biggest drink they had of fresh tropical fruits. And looking back, my body was totally quenched for nutrition, electrical energy, alkalinity, and for a few minutes when I would drink that, I would feel happy. I would feel like I was recharging myself, and I would feel better. And so this was like, I guess you could say, a little taste of the real solution. I didn't even realize it at the time. And in fact, that feeling didn't last for long, because I would go back to the sandwich shop, I would make a big sandwich, or I would go through the drive-through somewhere, or I would get some snack foods at the gas station. And so basically I would quickly put myself back into an acidic medium. But it was this internal compass that was pointing me, into towards the amazing power of juice. Now fast forward into the springtime of 2016. So this is 5 years later almost. Now at this time, I'm in like a death battle with these health problems, and I feel like I've figured out how I'm gonna defeat them, and I'm just struggling against them. I'm like waging a war every day using alkaline chemistry, and I'm drenching myself in alkalinity, and the tide is turning, and I'm turning the corner, and the worm is turning, and I'm feeling suddenly amazingly confident again, like I have a chance to get out of hell and to solve my health problems. So at this time, I started making frequent stops at my local juicery, and every time I would get a 16-ounce juice, I would feel closer and closer to regenerating myself. And it was just so nourishing and rejuvenating. I could feel the liquid power being absorbed, and I was just just so grateful from the magic of this. So don't underestimate the power of your own innate intelligence, your intuition, and your instinct, because sometimes it's like a compass, and it will tell you where to go and what you need to do more than your own mind. It's the power of the subconscious, which is really in tune with your autonomic nervous system, your body, and what your body needs. So yes, that compass, I believe, was what was trying to help me when I was working at that sandwich shop. And then again, as I was really starting to figure out how to solve my health issues, go into the juicery. So, that's it. I mean, the intrigue of juices, it's beyond logic. I mean, I will explain the logic of why juicing is healthy, but it goes beyond logic. I mean, it's amazing. Think about it. The powerful liquid nectar of the most amazing plants on this planet. It's a treat that's fit for a king or a queen. And if you go back a couple hundred years, a king or a queen would be the only people that would have the ability to enjoy this juice. It would have been so intensive to make. And now we have the technology to do it, and it's kind of amazing. And you can live like a king or live like a queen, and enjoy that. And so now there are logical reasons as well why the body benefits from juicing. There is a logic behind if you stop putting solids through your digestive system, that your digestive system can work on repair and restoration instead of digestion. You're still getting the fuel you need from the liquid. So that's one benefit. Another benefit is a lot of people have poor absorption. And therefore, even when they eat amazing raw foods and in their solid form, they miss out on the amazing nutrients. And this can happen from, years of bad choices, diet choices, and they can get a buildup of mucus and a slime wall on their intestines. This is talked about more in detail about with the intestinal cleanse episode, but basically, so this slime covers up the pores. The pores are what would otherwise absorb the nutrition. And so when you drink juice, yes, you can get more absorption, potentially. You can absorb that nutrition. You can even notice that juice getting absorbed, not just the stomach, but directly into tissues. Your mouth, your throat, your gums, your head, your chest. And the juice can be more easily absorbed, so that's another benefit. Beyond the nutrition of the juices, which is amazing, there's an abundance of phytonutrients. In other words, your probiotics. And these are so essential. Now, in order to have the probiotics, the juicing process has to be low heat and gentle, which we're going to talk about the different types of juicers. And one type that you would not want to use because it would kill the probiotics. But yeah, as long as you're using the right type of juicer, then the probiotics are preserved. The other thing is the electricity of a raw juice is so high, especially fruit juice. And this literally stimulates the electricity of your body as the liquid gets absorbed into your cells. Quite amazing. So the other benefit of juice is that you can enjoy foods that you wouldn't necessarily eat. Okay, you have things that are very fibrous, and some vegetables, they're just too much to eat raw. And they're so chewy, and like you have things like your celery, your leafy vegetables, beets and carrots. You can juice the tops of plants like beet leaves, carrot leaves, strawberry leaves. You can let's say something like a lemon or a pomegranate. It's so much seeds to eat. But yeah, eating raw vegetables a lot of times, it's so chewy, it's not very satisfying sometimes. And, it's a lot of cellulose. So it's very digestively involved to eat raw vegetables whole. But if you juice them, you can get all the amazing nutrition. If you're into working out and building muscle, vegetables are great for that, and you can get the power packed in from the vegetable, all the amino acids, you name it, from a juice of that vegetable. So those are some of the amazing logical points of juicing. So, what's the catch? Are there any downsides to juicing? Well, there's a couple. And by the way, just use your intuition. I can talk about the logic, the science, everything else, but your intuition is supreme. And, that's what I use most of all. That's the compass I use to figure out what I should do, how I should be transitioning, and how should I feel the next leg of my journey. Like right now I'm going through one and I'm thinking, I got to make some kind of change in what I'm doing and my daily lifestyle. And I'm listening for that intuition because I know it's going to reveal to me. So just, full disclosure, I was really into juicing heavy for 2016 and also then it kind of dropped off because my schedule was so intense. Then I got back into it in 2019 and I was juicing a lot. And then again, it dropped off. So for the last couple of years, I haven't really been doing juicing. I'm much more into smoothies. I like the pulp. I like the fruit pulp and the fiber. I like those matrices of the fruit moving through my gut. So that's just personally where I'm at now. Now, don't get me wrong. I still love a good juice, and I will still hit the juicery. And if someone's offering, or I'm in a setting, or I get a chance to pick one up, I'll absolutely do it. The other thing is my schedule is very crazy. It's just jam-packed. And so, the juicing can be time-consuming. So that's one other downside is I know I have friends and people who spend 2 hours a day on food prep, and that's just a lot. Like I just, that creates a big imbalance in my life if I'm doing that. And so it's quicker for me to make a smoothie than a juice. So that's another reason for me. However, if you're in a position to do it, maybe food prep is a good thing, not a bad thing. Maybe you do it with your family, with your kids, or whatnot. It's a fun activity, and so it's different for everybody. But it can be time consuming. Now, a trick about that is to figure out fruits that juice very easily. There's some fruits and vegetables where you can get a lot of juice from them, and other ones where you don't get hardly any. So if you're concerned about time consuming, also there's certain fruits and vegetables that are quicker and easier to prepare for juicing and clean up than others. And so your things like your apples, your oranges, your cucumbers, those are some ones where you get a lot of juice, relatively easy to prepare for juicing, versus things that are pretty hard like beets, carrots, leafy greens. You're getting very little juice. It's a lot of prep time compared with the amount of liquid you're actually getting. You can also make a batch of juice and you can store it in a glass container, put it in your fridge. It's not as fresh if you do it like that, but you can, but again, it's an economy of scale. So you're producing more, you're spending less time than if you're going to juice before every meal. The other thing you can do is add a little bit of lemon to your juice, and it will preserve it if you're going to store it for a couple days. So that's kind of one of the trade-offs of juicing, is the time involved, and that's one way you can kind of approach that and deal with that. There is another kind of trade-off about the way that nutrient absorption happens. So there's another section called simple sugars versus complex sugars. It talks about how simple sugars are the best fuel for nutrition, for energy, and for optimal health. And that would be your fructose from fruit and your glucose from vegetables. Now there can be an issue if there's too much juicing going on, where even the simple sugars, which are healthy sugars, can be overloading and can be basically absorbed too much too fast. This is especially true with fruit juice, and most especially true with fruit juice with the most concentrated amount of sugar per ounce. These are like your very high sugar fruits. So this can result in, blood sugar spiking and crashing potentially, as well as potential issues with energy absorption in the cells. And also from a weight management standpoint, you could be over-consuming excess of carbs and calories, and so that could get stored as fat reserves, and that could work against your ideal weight goals, especially if you're consuming that later in the day. So if you consume pulp or fiber at the same time as the liquid and the sugars, like you do in a smoothie or eating the fruit whole, it does slow the absorption of the sugars, and it's a more steady fluctuation of blood sugar, and you could see a more consistent flow in terms of the energy levels by consuming it in this manner. So that's how I intuitively eat nowadays. For the most part, I still love a good juice. And please, just know this is not just like some terrible issue. This is a minor point about juicing, and just something to watch out for. Just be aware. Make sure you're not overdoing it. You probably don't want to drink a gallon of pineapple juice in one setting, and be aware that you can juice fruits which are lower in sugar, like apple, for example, has a lot less sugar than pineapple. So yeah, a juice of apple is going to have that issue less. So just have an awareness about this, and just it's what chapter you're in. It's what chapter you're in. So even though I don't juice a lot now, there was a time when juicing was so exciting. It was the tip of the machete for me, and I was going into the wilderness and getting better, getting healthier, and it was so exciting, and it created this blissful experience. And every time I would drink a juice, it was like a spiritual experience, and it was amazing. And so it doesn't mean you're going to do it all the time forever, but if you're feeling really drawn to it, give yourself permission to go for it and just go nuts and just have fun with it. So lastly, just to wrap up, something that everybody should do in their lifetime: buy a juicer. You should buy a juicer. Oh, by the way, this is another downside to juices, which is that they're expensive to buy from the juicery over and over. Let's consider if you get a large juice that can cost $10 and from the juicery, and if you do this twice a day, you would spend $610 per month. You would spend $7,320 per year, and that's not including tips. So that's the thing, is a quality juicer, it can also be, it can be costly, but it does pay for itself after a certain amount of uses if you're gonna not go to the juicery anymore. So for that reason, it can be a very good investment. It can have a payback of just 1 or a couple months, by which point it pays you back. And so You could actually buy a used juicer, in fact. That's what I did. I was spending so much dough at the juicery, that I looked on Craigslist. I found this very nice couple, and I bought a 1 horsepower Champion juicer, fully masticating, for about $40. And, of course, I washed it really extensively, and that thing worked like a charm. So, basically, by the way, there's 3 kinds of juicers that you could consider getting. Okay, you have your circular, your centrifugal, which is like this spinning circular blade. You have your cold press juicer, and you have your fully masticating, which is like this cylindrical thing that spins. And so here's the thing, is that the circular blade, the centrifugal, it creates a lot of heat. And this destroys the probiotics as well as the electron-rich, molecular structures of that food. So it kills the electrical energy of the food and the probiotics. So avoid this kind of juicer, even though it's the lowest cost one. Now the other ones you could get are a cold press juicer, like an industrial cold press. Sometimes these are called a 2-stage juicer. Now, those can be like $2,000, $3,000. So those are very expensive. You could get a fully masticating juicer, which is the cylindrical kind. It still produces juice at a low temperature. And so this is the best option. You can get away with that for a few $100, to get a good quality one. And for a recommendation of the best juicer that I like, just go to rapidregeneration.com/juicer. And so, yes, get a juicer. It will change your life. It will absolutely change your life. So it's just so much fun. And you can walk on the wild side a little bit. You can juice things like lemon or lime, your ginger. I even once made a tonic of lemon and garlic. Oh my gosh, I don't even really eat garlic anymore, but at that time, man, I drank 12 ounces and I was lying in my bed for like 45 minutes and I could feel this tonic just like going through my whole body. It was so powerful. I also made a liver tonic that was Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and broccoli juice. And oh my gosh, same thing. It just was powerful and I could feel my liver literally receiving this tonic. And so just experiment, have fun, have adventurous concoctions that you make with juicing. And the amazing thing about juicing is you can experience great leaps forward that will move you forward towards your health goals quicker than you could just by eating raw foods. So whatever gets you excited about being healthier and consuming raw foods, then I'm all for it. And it can also get your family members excited, your loved ones, your friends. It's a great way to get somebody support or interest in this. People might not want to be like, yeah, I'll eat a pear. But if you hand them a glass of amazing fresh strawberry, orange, lime juice, or you just make some amazing juice for them, anyone is going to drink it. I guarantee you. It's just an amazing thing. Going back to the amazing intrigue of juicing that goes beyond logic. So that's it. It's one of the finest ways you can enjoy nature. Again, check out rapidregeneration.com/juicer if you don't already have a juicer. Or if you're not up for buying one, get one on Craigslist, get a used one. Just make sure that you get the fully masticating kind that's gonna make the juice in a low heat. Really, you could get the circular kind. It's not like it's blasphemy if you do. It's just not gonna be as healthy. So I hope you get value out of this. Oh, you know what? The last thing I'll mention is, there is a lot of people in the natural wellness community and the people that advocate fruit and raw foods that are super into juicing, so into it. And a lot of times, people use juicing as like it becomes a block. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a 30-day juice cleanse. And by the way, I'm going to talk about juice cleansing specifically, or juice fasting, in a couple episodes from now. But this really episode is just about more working it into your daily life and supplementing solid foods using juicing. So that's what this episode is really about. I'm going to cover juice fasting more in that upcoming segment, because I've done that as well, and I can share with you some insights about that. So be sure to check that out as well. Some really next level stuff coming at you in these upcoming segments. So please pay attention. Keep investing in your knowledge, in yourself, in your health. And if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out to me. That's all for now.
For more information, please follow @Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.